1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the sketchbook. You know, sometimes you just gotta stop thinking and just start sketching. So in this video, we're gonna do just that. We'll have a nice chat and play with some new pens. I recently got these and have been loving to draw with them. Super smooth, and I kind of want to explore some new colors. And the beauty about these is that they come in so many different colors. It's going to be a chatty one, so feel free to grab your sketchbook and your supplies and let's hang out. Today's exploration topic are flowers. So to play a little game, I'm actually going to be flipping to a random page by using a random number generator. And this book has about 400 pages, so I'm just going to input that here and let's generate our first number, 84, and flip to that page. I love to do this because it's a great way to get out of your head and into your practice. Ooh, we landed on some roses. Okay, let's see what we could do with this. These roses are like a cream color, so maybe I can change some colors around. And I was just feeling into the mood, and I was thinking to do some pinks at first. A common theme lately when it comes to sketching and simply showing up to the sketchbook or even your creative practice, something I've been thinking about lately is simply just how much it's possible to overthink without even noticing, and when the best thing you can do is just open the page, open the panel, maybe grab a new canvas and just begin. Just start sketching, begin with your play, begin with your exploration. And you may come to a resistant moment right before or upon starting, especially a blank page, just where to begin, what to draw, picking a supply to draw that day, but you just kind of have to grab something and go for it. Every single day lately, I am just reminded, especially when a lot of tasks kind of take over and I may not have time to draw that day, I just make a conscious decision to show up to do at least one drawing. Don't overcomplicate the agenda, but just to make sure that this is a priority, because I definitely do feel better when I sketch. I do feel incredible when I'm drawing and making time for play. I spoke a bit about this in a recent Paint With Me video. But whenever you show up to practice and you show up to draw, you're also showing up to catering to your own heart and enjoying your time to sketch. And although I've been doing this for many years now, I still feel like I forget sometimes, and I need to remind myself how important it really is. And if you're at home in need of a little bit of inspiration, a little pick-me-up, I'm here to be your friend, and so feel free to sketch along with me and let's get creative together. Every time I come into my sketchbook and my creative practice, I try to practice something new, or maybe go through a little bit of a new road and dive into some color, perhaps a new technique, and also maybe combining it with something that I already do that I really like. Flowers isn't a subject I normally draw, especially with ink, so I wanted to practice a line drawing and then some fun cross-hatching and see how I can maybe layer colors and just explore that with this one. As soon as I got a little groove in, the pen almost started dancing on the paper, and it became a complete meditative process to do these crosshatches, and I lean more and more towards it and just feels super good. One thing I quickly learned with drawing the flowers, especially when it comes to cross-hatching, is starting out with a nice little line drawing really helped get the shapes of the petals, and then forming out the cross-hatches in the direction of which the flower grows, starting inward and going outward. And also where there would be a bit more shadow when the petals form next to one another is where I would add a little bit more of the crosshatches, and here and there just forming them in a bunch of different ways to keep that little organic feel of the flower. I've also been thinking lately, and humans are so similar to flowers, how we need so much of nature and how we are nature. But let's touch on that further in the video. So today I really came into no plan when it comes to the composition. I just simply wanted to draw, show up to the page, and create a little bit of a meditative doodling process for myself today. I highly encourage the same, because sometimes we can think too much about what to draw, where to start, what to do. All these questions can go through our head. But the present moment is really what we have. So if it excites you in the moment, there's an art supply you've been wanting to try that's been calling your name, you should definitely just pick it up and begin. I paid close attention on the movement of the leaves, and I wanted to begin with the red, and once I had that, I started laying in some yellows, and oh boy was I excited. Once I dropped all the yellow in, I slowly started adding blues. And while we experiment with some color explosion, thanks to our sponsors, Squarespace. I have to say, it was a little risky starting to add all the color, but I was really happy that I did. Sometimes you gotta do things a bit differently or start something new, and with this all-in-one platform where you can build your website, host your shop, announce new artworks and prints all in one place, you can select one of their award-winning templates and it allows you to customize it, try new things with the design. When I was uploading some of my Patreon tutorials, I was able to make these little circle shapes and color coordinate everything, and it was a great experiment with visual organization, and it wouldn't be possible without Squarespace's user-friendly features. Get creative and build your website. Give it a try by going to squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, head over to squarespace.com/justcarp for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, look at this color explosion, guys. I was having the time of my life, just trusting the process and making sure that it visually looks balanced. And to cater to that balance, I like to take a look at both spreads as a whole and see what negative space is kind of missing. And I lean into this intuitive feeling of where what is missing. And I found that selectively choosing little moments in the sketch and making and deepening those shadows with a little bit of burgundy and dark indigo just really pulled it together and made it pop, but also finding that sweet spot and leaving things looking a bit unfinished. Alright, for the next sketch and next page, we randomly landed on 367. Let's see what next surprise page we land on. Ooh, here's the next beautiful flower. I've never drawn this one before, but I think the purple is going to be a beautiful complement on the page. Immediately after starting this flower with the purple pen, it felt super playful and I loved drawing the petals as a beautiful detail. But I was also really in love with the stems and the leaves. To create some more dimension in the color, I selectively added this little blue violet-ish color onto some of the areas, and then I began adding the stems and drawing out those details and just simply having fun with it. Once the base foundation was done with blue, I started adding in the yellow middle, and then adding deeper colors and lighter colors into certain areas to kind of fill it in. But then I also thought to add some colors that I wouldn't normally grab. And it brings me back to the point of making time for play, just playing around with the ideas, playing around with your own intuition, thinking outside the box and just adding colors, like for example, getting some pink into the shadows and some yellows into the highlights and even a little bit of greens into the shadows of the yellows. This is your time to play. This was a super fun one to mix the composition with, but let's select our next number. All right, can we talk about the synchronicities lately and how all of the flowers I was randomly laying on were summer flowers or flowers that were transitioning into the fall? This book came with lovely descriptions and it was super helpful to even learn about each flower. Half of these I have never even drawn before, and I found a new love for cross-hatching and drawing and doodling some florals. It was also beautiful to see the colors beginning to play with one another on the page, and how when there's no rush and you just take the time to enjoy, things just fall into place, just like in nature. I wanted a bit of a brighter base in the sketch of the yellows, so I added a bit of Tombow marker and then continued with deepening those darker greens in the leaves. I love creating a cozy space when I'm drawing, so I made myself some tea, and look at this other synchronicity. What are the odds that I would open my tea and it would have that saying on it? Okay, story time and fun fact. I actually love collecting the little tags off the teas because I just find them really interesting to read. Not like little fortune cookies, but just super beautiful little reminders. And I know that was a bit random, but I figured I'd share that moment with you too. And perhaps the earth really does smile and laugh in flowers. All right, last sketch, 197. Okay. Sunflowers, my favorite. I find it quite fascinating that everything is all connected. When things begin to align and fall into place, and you kind of know that you're on the right track. We all have different seasons in our lives, and we all go through different things, and everyone has something that they are going through, right? And with this summer coming to a close as we step into September and October into the fall, it's the beautiful time to just look at your growth as a flower that you are. Reflect on last summer perhaps, and how things may have changed and how you have grown thus far. Center yourself and maybe ask, what was the thing that you felt has made you grow the most? In what areas of your life can you just drink a little more water and water a bit more? Besides, if we think about it, flowers contract before they can flourish. There's a certain process that goes when growth occurs. And plants also respond to sunlight, and humans also love sunlight. And I personally think that flowers can be super comforting and soothing as well. I guess that's what I've been focusing on lately, and finding things that are soothing for the soul. That I think I stepped into a season and chapter of my life where coincidentally I love flowers more, and life is just beautifully flourishing. But with every season comes something we must do, and that is to trust, check in with ourselves, of course, and take really good care. This may look different for each and every flower. However, the beauty of it is that you can play and see what works for you. And who knows, maybe you just might discover that drop of water that you're looking for. So with this final drawing on the page, I focused all about love and light, comfort and energetic sunny vibes. Basically all of my favorite things, and I hope they inspired you to draw what you love, what you find comforting perhaps, and focus on your inner light as well. Upon finishing, I had a sudden idea come to mind. I thought, what if I actually collaged the little sayings from the teas and made them a part of the sketchbook page? I know I mentioned the little tea sayings, and they do sit on my fridge. Seeing these definitely put me in a good mood, so I just grabbed a few and I brought them to the sketchbook to see how I can position them. To attach them in, I just used a little bit of double-sided tape, and I found one that I had a quote of Van Gogh, and it says, "If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere." And then I also attached the one originally from the sketchbook session at the top. Just to give that final touch of unity, I added a little bit of green going into the saying, and here is the final result. Remember that nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. I'm sending love and light your way wherever you are, and till next time.